Why are millions of people around the world packing their bags, leaving behind everything they know, and choosing Singapore as their new home? What does this tiny island have that others do not? Imagine a country with 0% unemployment fear, zero tolerance for corruption, and 100% commitment to making your life better. Sounds like a dream, right? But this is not a fantasy. This is Singapore. A tiny red dot on the world map, smaller than most cities, yet somehow more powerful than countries 10 times its size. Every single year, hundreds of thousands of professionals, entrepreneurs, and families make the bold decision to leave their homeland and start fresh in Singapore. They come from India, China, the United States, Europe, the Philippines, and beyond. They leave behind their language, their culture, their comfort zone, and they choose Singapore. So the big question is, why? What is it about this one small island that makes people willingly give up everything they have built at home? In this video, we are going to break it all down. 10 powerful reasons why everyone wants to leave their country and move to Singapore. Stay with us, because by the end, you might just be booking a flight yourself. Point 1. Safety and zero crime fear. Let us start with something every human being craves. Safety. In Singapore, you can walk alone at 2 a.m. and feel completely fine. Women walk home alone at night. Children take public transport by themselves. Tourists leave their laptops on cafe tables while they go to the washroom. This is not carelessness. This is confidence. Singapore consistently ranks as one of the safest cities on the entire planet. The crime rate is incredibly low, and the police are everywhere, visible, professional, and respected. The government enforces strict laws, and people follow them. There is no negotiation. There is no looking the other way. If you break the rules, you face the consequences, and everyone knows it. For people coming from countries where kidnapping, robbery, or street violence. Point 2. World-class healthcare. Your health is your wealth. And Singapore understands this better than almost any country on earth. Singapore's healthcare system is consistently ranked among the top 3 in the entire world. The hospitals are clean, modern, and equipped with the latest technology. The doctors are among the most highly trained professionals you will ever meet. Whether you need a routine checkup, a complex surgery, or emergency care at 3 a.m, Singapore's medical system will not let you down. The government heavily subsidizes healthcare for residents, which means even ordinary people can access high-quality treatment without going bankrupt. Compare this to countries where people skip doctor visits because they cannot afford the bill, or where hospitals are so underfunded that basic equipment is missing. In Singapore, the system works. It is efficient, it is reliable, and it is genuinely good. For families with young children or elderly parents, this is not a luxury. This is everything. Knowing your loved ones will receive world-class care is one of the most powerful reasons people choose to call Singapore home. Point 3. Education that opens every door. Ask any parent anywhere in the world what they want most for their child, and the answer is always the same: a good education. Singapore delivers that, and then some. The Singapore education system is ranked number 1 in the world for mathematics and science. Number 1. Not top 10. Number 1. Schools here do not just teach children facts. They teach them how to think, how to solve problems, how to compete at the highest level. The National University of Singapore regularly appears in the global top 20 universities. Students from Singapore go on to work at the best companies in the world, get admitted to the top universities in America and the United Kingdom, and build careers that their parents could only have dreamed of. For families coming from countries where education quality is poor, where schools are overcrowded, or where corruption determines who gets a scholarship, Singapore is a revolution. It is a place where hard work is genuinely rewarded, where your child's future is not decided by your family name or your bank account. It is decided by merit, and that changes everything. Point 4. A thriving job market. Here's a fact that shocks most people. Singapore has one of the lowest unemployment rates in the entire world, consistently below 2%. 2%. In most countries, people spend months or even years searching for work. In Singapore, companies are actively looking for talent. The economy is booming. Finance, technology, biomedical sciences, logistics, trade, every sector is growing. Singapore is home to the regional headquarters of thousands of global companies, including Google, Facebook, Apple, Goldman Sachs, and hundreds more. These companies bring high-paying jobs, and they need skilled people to fill them. If you have experience in tech, finance, engineering, law, medicine, or business, Singapore will likely have something better waiting for you than what you have at home. And the salaries? They are genuinely competitive. Combine that with a low personal income tax rate, which we will talk about shortly, and your take-home pay is often significantly higher than what you would earn doing the same job in New York or London. The opportunity is real, and people can feel it the moment they arrive. Point 5. Low taxes, high rewards. Let us talk about money, because taxes matter. They matter a lot. In many Western countries, professionals give away 30, 40, or even 50% of their income to the government. In Singapore, the personal income tax rate starts at 0% and caps at 22% for the very highest earners. Most working professionals pay far less than that. The corporate tax rate is also incredibly competitive, just 17% flat. There is no capital gains tax, no inheritance tax, no tax on dividends. For entrepreneurs, investors, and high-earning professionals, this is enormous. It means you actually keep what you earn. You can save faster, invest more, build wealth in a way that feels genuinely possible, not just theoretical. Add to that Singapore's status as a global financial hub, home to hundreds of banks, private wealth managers, and investment firms, and you begin to understand why so many wealthy individuals and successful businesses choose to base themselves here. Singapore rewards ambition. It rewards success. And it does not punish you financially for working hard and earning well. Point 6. Strategic location and global connectivity. Look at a map of Asia. Now find the very center of Southeast Asia. That is Singapore. Sitting right at the crossroads of East and West, Singapore is within a 7-hour flight of half the world's population. From Singapore, you can reach Tokyo, Sydney, Mumbai, Dubai, and Beijing all within hours. Singapore's Changi Airport has been voted the best airport in the world for 12 consecutive years. 12 years in a row. It is not just the facilities, which are extraordinary. It is the sheer number of flights. Over 100 airlines operate out of Changi, connecting Singapore to more than 100 destinations worldwide. For business travelers, this is critical. For families who want to visit relatives back home regularly, this is a lifeline. And for people who simply want to explore the world, Singapore is the ultimate launchpad. You are never far from anywhere. Southeast Asia is practically your backyard. Bali for the weekend, Bangkok for a long weekend, Vietnam, Malaysia, Thailand, all just a short hop away. The location alone makes Singapore feel like the center of everything. Point 7. A clean, efficient, beautiful city. People who visit Singapore for the first time almost always say the same thing. I have never seen a city this clean. And they are right. Singapore is spotlessly clean. The streets, the public transport,
The parks, the food centers, everything is maintained to an exceptionally high standard. There is no litter. There is no crumbling infrastructure. The roads are smooth. The trains run on time. The parks are green and well kept. The public spaces are safe and welcoming. This cleanliness is not accidental. It is the result of decades of intentional policy, civic education, and strict enforcement. And it is not just about looks. It is about quality of life. When your environment is clean and well organized, everything feels better. Your commute feels better. Your meals feel better. Your daily routine feels better. Contrast this with major cities around the world where traffic is chaotic, pollution is visible in the air, and basic infrastructure is falling apart. People who move to Singapore often describe it as a breath of fresh air, literally and figuratively. It sets a standard that most cities in the world simply cannot match. Point 8. Food culture like nowhere else. Now let us talk about something deeply personal. Food. Because food is not just sustenance. It is culture, identity, community, and joy. And Singapore might just be the greatest food city on earth. Seriously. Where else in the world can you eat a Michelin-starred meal at a hawker center for less than $3? Where else can you find authentic Chinese, Malay, Indian, Japanese, Korean, Middle Eastern, and Western food all within 5 minutes of each other? Singapore's food culture is extraordinary. The hawker centers, open-air food markets with dozens of stalls, are the heartbeat of the city. They are social spaces, affordable, delicious, and deeply democratic. Everyone eats there. Students, CEOs, tourists, and grandmothers alike. Singapore even has hawker culture listed as a UNESCO intangible cultural heritage. The food scene is so central to life here that locals greet each other not with hello, but with have you eaten yet? For expats missing the flavors of home, there is almost always something familiar nearby. And for food lovers, Singapore is simply paradise. Every single meal is an adventure. Point 9. A multicultural society that actually works. Here is something remarkable. Singapore is a country of roughly 5.5 million people, and it is made up of Chinese, Malay, Indian, and Eurasian communities, along with a massive expat population from every corner of the globe. Different languages, different religions, different traditions. Yet somehow it works. Not just tolerates each other, actually works, celebrates together, eats together, lives side by side in genuine harmony. The government has worked intentionally for decades to build a multicultural society where no single group dominates, where every community is represented, and where racial and religious harmony is treated as a national priority. This is not just policy on paper. It is lived reality. Deepavali lights up Little India. Chinese New Year fills the streets with red and gold. Hari Raya transforms the Malay kampungs with celebration and food. Christmas is everywhere. All of it, side by side. For people coming from countries torn apart by ethnic or religious tension, where your identity puts you at risk, Singapore offers something extraordinary. The genuine experience of belonging, regardless of where you come from. Point 10. Political stability and smart governance. The final reason, and perhaps the most powerful of all, is this. Singapore is exceptionally well governed. This might sound boring, but think about it. How many countries in the world have a government that is genuinely competent, genuinely honest, and genuinely focused on the long-term well-being of its citizens? Very few. Singapore is one of them. Transparency International consistently ranks Singapore as one of the least corrupt countries in the world. The government plans decades ahead. Housing policy, education, healthcare, transport, economic development, everything is managed with a level of strategic thinking that most governments can only dream of. There is political stability. There are no military coups, no sudden policy reversals, no economic crises born from incompetent leadership. Businesses can plan for the future with confidence. Families can build lives without fear of everything being torn apart by political chaos. In a world where so many countries are struggling with corruption, instability, and short-sighted leadership, Singapore stands apart. It is proof that good.
So there you have it. 10 powerful reasons why people from every corner of the world are choosing to leave everything behind and start a new life in Singapore. Safety, healthcare, education, jobs, low taxes, location, cleanliness, food, multiculturalism, and world-class governance. These are not small things. These are the foundations of a good life. And Singapore has built all of them, deliberately, patiently, and successfully. Is Singapore perfect? No country is. Housing costs are high, space is limited, the pace of life can be intense. But for millions of people who have known real poverty, real corruption, real danger, and real hopelessness back home, Singapore is not just a better option. It is a completely different world. A world where hard work is rewarded, where your children can dream big and actually achieve those dreams, where you can walk home at midnight without fear, where the system works, not for the powerful few, but for everyone. That is why people want to move to Singapore, not just for a better job or a bigger paycheck, but for a genuinely better life. And honestly, can you blame them?